Hello and welcome to this week's program of the Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. Each week we connect with and hear from fascinating and inspirational speakers, often with a message focused on our interests in innovation, entrepreneurship, and education. As a Rotary Club, we look for ways that these programs might foster new approaches to improving communities near and far. We're glad that you've joined us and hope that you'll enjoy how we are exploring how technology can serve the business of others, of service to others. And today we are going to hear from one of our own, or possibly two of our own, Brett Sham and Angela Hoang, who are members from the wonderful land of Australia, who are going to talk about Terra clubs and how it's not so terrifying to get to know them up close and personal, and how we can utilize what they offer to improve our communities through working collaborative relationships with them. So Angela and Brett, take it away.
Thank you, Cecilia. So for those of you who don't know, I'm the current International Service Chair, and with the help of Cecilia Babkirk and Roger Plested and also Andrew Torr, we've been trying to put together a plan for this year for our club in the way of international service. So I just wanted to start with the goals for this year for our club and international service.
Can everyone see our screen that we're sharing?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Perfect. So we have two scions for the International Service Committee to implement this year. One is a plan called Terra Connect, which is how one can reach out to the local Terra clubs, get involved, sort of get to know them, see if there's projects that you want to get on board with and sort of connect that way, and then report back to our club to sort of be the inspiration for this year, which is one of the goals for Rotary International anyway. But then stemming from Terra Connect, we will have a better idea of the things that drive our club so we can plan for an overseas project as well, hopefully. So exciting times ahead, and we're always looking for new members. So of course, if anyone is interested in helping with the committee, I'm always open to new members. So email me so that we can get in touch. So for today's presentation, we've got a couple of things that we'll have a chat about. So the first thing is entrepreneurship, which is a major theme for our club, and how we can give back to our community from the very beginning of starting a business. Then we'll also talk about how to engage with your local Rotary clubs. So it doesn't have to be a scary thing. It doesn't have to be a huge leap of faith. It can start with small things that can end up with big things, which we'll share with you today. And lastly, I'll elaborate on how you can get involved in Terra Connect as a program. And hopefully we will have 100% member support at this point in time. So we're very excited about this program for this year.
For us, we thought that by sharing our story about how we've connected with some of the local Rotary clubs through our entrepreneurial activities and just our volunteering might help inspire some of our other members or even some of our guests to show them how they can get involved as well. So where this all probably starts is probably from the entrepreneurial lens, and with that through a business that Andrew and I launched earlier this year called Tradewinds Tea Company. So what Tradewinds is it's a mobile high tea service. So rather than people having to go to a hotel or a venue for a high tea, we bring that experience to them with the pastries, the tea, the typical classic 3-tier stand, which you can see in one of the photos there, and we bring that to people. So whether that's people that are looking to just celebrate in their house, but also whether it's people that have issues in traveling or mobility issues as well, so they can still enjoy that experience. Tradewinds was started because it combines our passion. So Angela loves baking and I love cooking. And we both love meeting people as well. So that's why we launched the business. We thought it's a great way to to get to sort of harness our enjoyment and our passions there. One thing that was important for us, both as Rotarians, but just both because we do enjoy service and giving back, was to make sure that when we launched the business, we found a way that the business could still engage and support the community and to give back. And so we thought, well, what's something that is sort of related to what we're trying to do with this? And we thought that a women's shelter would be a great way to connect, because women people that typically love to have a nice high tea, and we thought that how can we then take that experience to women in a women's shelter that unfortunately probably don't have the opportunity of that luxury at that moment to share that with them. And the reason why we chose a women's shelter is that domestic violence is actually quite a big issue here in Australia. And quite a few women die each week across the country through domestic violence issues. And for those that went to, I think it was the RI convention in Seoul in Korea a couple of years ago, Rosie Batty was a speaker at that convention, and Rosie was a former Australian of the Year. And she's a strong campaigner for anti-domestic violence. And her story is that, for those who aren't familiar, is her son was, I think, killed by her husband in a domestic violence incident. So we partnered with a shelter, and the way it works is that for every scone that a person purchases through one of our events or at a marketplace, which I'll get onto in a minute, we give back to the shelter as well. So those women get to enjoy that experience themselves.
So one of the biggest hurdles when you're starting a small business is, how do you give back from the very beginning? So we thought, rather than a donation of money, because obviously it's very hard to sustain this in a small business setting, we thought that we would do it in the way of food. So in the way of volunteering our time, putting on a morning tea for women, and that way it would be scalable to our business. So the busier our business becomes, the more food we'll be able to donate to the women. So it took a while for us to find the right partners who shared our vision, but it's very exciting to know that we have that collaboration on board. So actually, the day after the markets, which is happening tomorrow, so the day after that, I'm going to visit the centre, which is called Lou's Place, and I'll be armed with all sorts of goods based on what we sell at the market the day before.
And so before I move on to the market, so this is just a snapshot of some of what we have to offer with our business and our website there. And earlier in the year, we also helped cater at a wedding. And the reason why I wanted to raise this wedding is that at the moment here in Australia, the anti-plastic movement is also gathering a lot of steam, just from a service and environmental perspective, which I know is a big focus of Rotary as well, with a lot of our supermarkets having recently banned plastic bags. And what was interesting about this wedding is that they had no plastic at the wedding. So all the cups are glass cups, all the tea cups and coffee cups were, and they weren't even, a lot of them weren't new. They had gone to a lot of op shops and bought secondhand tea cups and secondhand tea settings to reuse and recycle and upcycle a lot of the products. So we thought, that was just a really fascinating thing to be involved with as well from a sustainability point of view there. And critical to the high tea, and I mentioned scones earlier, so you'll see in the photo here in the bottom right some of our scones offering. I think they're akin to our American members and guests. They're akin to sort of biscuits. But we have them all with jam and cream, so they're a bit sweeter rather than gravy. But, when we were in Atlanta last year for the convention, we did enjoy a lot of biscuits and gravy. So I remember we went out for breakfast a few times with Ken and Stephen, and had quite a lot of those with them. So one way that our business is also, apart from sort of that giving element, another way our business has helped us engage in service, and this is where the local Rotary Club perspective comes in, is that near where we live, a local Rotary Club runs a market every month, every second Sunday of the month. This market's been running for 25 years. I've been going to the market since I was a kid, and picking up a trinket or a little toy here or there, and a little snack along the way. And it's run by 2 local Rotary clubs in the area. And what's great about this market is that, like I said, it's been going on for a long time, so it builds a sense of community, not just for people that have stalls at the market, not just for the Rotarians, but also for the residents around the area. And where we live, A lot of the residents are elderly, so a lot of them again don't get out that much, and so being able to go to the markets is a great opportunity for them. And last month, which is our first time at the markets, one of the Rotarians there, she was saying her mother has dementia, and so but her mother loves high tea, so to take her out to the city is quite a big challenge. But she was able to bring her to the markets and to try some of our food there and to show that to her. And so the way that the Rotary Club raises money through the market that they take part in or that they run is that they charge rent to all the store holders like us, and then they also collect a coin donation from people visiting the markets as well. So for us, that was a great way to sort of take our business and combine that with a local Rotary Club and that local community setting as well. And so going on from the markets, that's run by Turramurra Rotary Club, and you can see their banner there. Another community event we were recently involved with was Graffiti Removal Day. And so, again, graffiti is a big problem in Australia. And a few years ago, Rotary won a tender from the state government to run Graffiti Removal Day. That was a coordinated effort by all the Rotary clubs, I think, in sort of the greater Sydney area. That's what that means is that Rotary now coordinates the event every year. And this was a few weeks ago. And so for this, there are different sites all throughout the state, and each site's typically run by a community group, whether that's scouts or a sporting group, but many are run by Rotary clubs. And so we picked the site a few suburbs away from where we live that was organised by Turramurra Rotary, so same club that organises and runs the market. And so we turned up on the day there, and when we arrived, this is what the site we faced was like. So it was someone's house. People take a lot of pride in their house, but, they lived on the main road opposite a train station. So their fences, you can see, was covered in graffiti. Their gate was covered in graffiti. And this was all along the whole length of their property, so maybe 20 or 30 metres. And you can see quite a lot of it was tagged, and their neighbours was tagged as well. We partnered with this Rotary Club and some of their members there. And after a couple of hours, sort of this is Angela and I, as we're going in action with our paintbrushes, we repainted the fence, and this was what it looked like afterwards. So it was us and 3 of their local members on this property, and then some of the other members were on the adjacent property of the neighbours. But that's what the opportunity for us was, to collaborate with this club, and we had a great time with them, chatting with their members and working with them and giving back to the community and doing good. And so since then, because we volunteered at Graffiti Removal Day, because we've been getting to know them through the local markets, they've invited us to a few of their meetings and some of their events, including their Christmas party that's coming up, their recent 40th birthday celebration, and even their meetings and some of their other projects and events. And just fortunately, we haven't had a chance to get involved yet, just because we both work quite late into the evenings in the city. It's quite a journey back up to the suburbs for us. And I think the other project that they run, which is a great one, which is they organise a flight with Qantas, the major airline here in Australia, every year to take up some children that are, I think, sick children and special needs children on a flight. I think that's actually taking place today, or it might have been last week, but unfortunately we didn't get the chance for that. But again, that's a great opportunity for us to get involved with clubs. I think what this shows is there are so many different ways that you can engage with a local club. Just the 2 of us, through our opportunities, have done that 2 or 3 different times. And another way that we've been involved, which Anne will talk about, is some toilet packaging as well.
So this was an inadvertent collaboration with a Rotary club. So what happens is Brett travels interstate a lot. And when he travels interstate, he, of course, takes toiletries. So I had said to him, stop taking toiletries. We have no need for them, and you don't need to take them. But he kept going. So I reached out to different places to say, we have a lot of toiletries, would you like them? A lot of different shelters, a lot of different organizations, but quite a few of them didn't have the storage space. So then they turned me to the attention of the Rotary Club of Beecroft, which I thought, wow, of course I should have talked to a Rotary Club first. So we donated our toiletries to this club that has an amazing project where they package up these care packages for youth who are going into youth services. So kids who have been taken out of troubled homes that then go on to foster care. It's really heartwarming when they receive a little care package like this, where they feel more independent and they have some toiletries of their own going into a strange household. So unfortunately, this time we missed the packing of it. This is photos from their packing efforts from the Rotary Club of Beecroft. But our toiletries are in there and it's been amazing. And through reaching out to this club with our toiletries, we now maintain a communication with them, whereby in the future, whenever they have projects, they know that they can call on us because we are willing and able to help, and we are also in their area. So it's been amazing to meet all these different people from different Rotary clubs through our journey. So yeah, and the carols are coming up soon in Sydney, as they are probably all over the world, and our local club is putting on carols in the park fundraiser. So both myself and Brett will be volunteering with a different Rotary club for that one. We're doing bucket donation collections and ticket sales and things like that. So there's definitely different ways that one can reach out to your local Rotary club, and definitely take advantage of this time of year, because this is the time of year where a lot of clubs are doing good work in the community, and they may need an extra pair of hands or 2 extra pairs of hands to get the party started, so to speak. So definitely reach out. It's a great feeling.
And I volunteered at the carols in the previous years, and one thing they needed some help with was photos. So I took my camera along and took some photos for them as well for that. So I think what that shows is there's a chance again to bring your passion or your interest, or where you have a special skill set, to partner with a Rotary club that has a need for that, and so that you can help them in doing that.
So this brings us back to Terra Connect. So Terra Connect, as I was saying before, as one of the programs or projects that we're doing for our club, is in an aim to get more of our members involved, thinking about service, doing service, but then also so that other people in our club can see the different service projects and initiatives that are happening all around the world. We're running this for now from January to April, which gives everyone plenty of time to sort of connect with a club around you, maybe a few clubs around you. For us, it's not about, finding one and sticking to one, but getting to know a few different ones, seeing what sort of programs and projects they're doing, what really resonates with you, and then ask if you can get involved in the projects. So along the way next year, I hope to have a service tracker on board during meetings. So there'll be a little section in there, hopefully, where we'll be able to say what types of service our members have been doing, so that we can encourage each other and inspire each other. And as I was saying before, I would really hope that 100% of our members get on board, because it's incredible. For me, I hadn't really had a chance to connect with a lot of Terra clubs previously, and was a bit intimidated because I didn't know if there was a really big rigid structure that we had to break, or so meeting them, seeing how engaged they were with the e-club format, how involving they were, and how easy it was to sort of strengthen the ties between us and our Terra clubs. It's been quite an eye-opening experience for me, definitely. And as a byproduct of Terra Connect, we on the service committee will be able to identify different areas that inspire our members. So whether it be, big projects like sanitation projects, maybe it's homelessness, maybe it's, women, we want to see what makes our members tick, so that down the track, when we look for projects on a bigger scale internationally, we will be able to move forward with our best members' interests at heart. So yeah, Terra Connect has definitely the potential to do great things, and I'm very excited about it.
I think that's sort of just a snapshot of I think about four things that the two of us have done together with local Rotary clubs in the space of about 3 months. And I think what that shows is it's so easy to get involved with the local Rotary company. There's so many different types of things you can do. So there's really something out there for everyone that's interested in, just really recommend that you reach out to clubs. It's not scary. It's not terrifying. And just give it a go. So that's the end of our presentation. So back over to you, Cecilia, for any questions.
Okay, so we'll begin our question and answer period now. And I will start. So for those that are not quite sure how to do this, how to connect, what methodology do you guys use? Do you contact the club president? Do you go to a meeting? Do you just accidentally trip over them?
Mm-hmm.
How do you make that connection?
So there's many different ways. So for me, I was, blind to this whole process. So I went online and I just checked out our local clubs and I saw what times they met. And unfortunately, the times that they met didn't really work for our work schedules, which is why this e-club is perfect. So
Right.
The meeting side was too difficult for us to jump on board with. But then we had, for us it was easier because we knew we wanted to do, say, the markets, and we knew that the markets were run by a Rotary club. And so we specifically targeted them that way. But then also when we went to Graffiti Removal Day, we had someone from a club saying, oh, you're in this area, why don't you reach out to this person, and they're from this other Rotary club. So from one contact, you might be able to get, 3-4 different contacts.
Sure.
And actually, interestingly, from the Graffiti Removal Day, we found out that a member from their club has a podcast, a Rotary podcast, and they were really interested in e-clubs and how e-clubs sort of work and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's very interesting.
People want to do an initial connection with them, ask them to be put on their mailing list. So, Terra Rotary Club, who we dealt with quite a bit now, we're on their sort of friends and supporters mailing list. So whenever there's an event or a project coming up, we get that notification of that so we can get involved. Similar like the carols, we knew it's Christmas time was coming up again, but because I was on the mailing list for that, we got that notification when that came out as well. So a great way is just going to Rotary Club websites, finding out if there's a space where you can register for their mailing list, or even districts quite often have a district calendar as well. So if the district you live in, reach out to that district and say, can I be added to the district newsletter so I can see what projects and events are coming up?
That's great. And so you get the opportunity to talk to them about e-clubs and how how we work and how different, because sometimes members of those clubs cannot be a member any longer, a functioning attending member any longer. And so, it's a way, although you don't obviously want to siphon members out of existing clubs, but there are people that want to remain involved in Rotary but cannot give the time at the time that the club meets. And so it seems to me like it's a good way to also do membership recruitment.
Yeah, inadvertently. I mean, this is why this project, so to speak, is so interesting, is that we just don't know the scope of what we will be able to get out of it. So yeah, I mean, I'm prepared to be amazed and astounded by what our members can achieve and what sort of things they can do through their Terra clubs. So yeah.
Right. Roger, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. First of all, and this probably goes better to you, Brett, because you're on the board of directors of our club. One of the things that I thought that would be very important for me anyway, and for all of our members, is to have a badge.
Yeah, I know that's been something the club's been looking at for a while, getting name badges out there. And I think, they can be quite simple, they can be quite complex, but it's probably something I know that's been looked at previously. So we'll just make sure that we consider that again and get, to try to progress that and move that forward.
Because I would like to attend the meetings of on occasion of the clubs in Kamloops. And everybody associates me with the Terra Club that I used to belong with.
I know I've been to quite a few Terra clubs, even previously before joining this club. And if you don't have a badge, normally they have a standard Rotary visitor badge template which gets filled out, which says who you are, and whether you're a Rotarian, and if you are, which club you are, or if you're just a guest of someone as well.
Or just even a badge about 2.5 inches by about 1.5 inches that just has your name on it, and Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley, Silicon Valley. And that would really assist people and encourage people to attend the odd meeting at the Terra Club.
Yeah.
Which would lead into them being involved with the Terra Club's activities.
Yeah, that would be great.
The second thing that I wanted to mention was that as you gave your presentation, what struck me was the different types of programs your Terra Clubs are involved in terms of giving back. Because we don't do those types of things, so far as I know, in Canada. But then again, maybe the Canadian clubs do things different than what the Australian clubs do. And there's a lot of benefit through our E-Club of sharing those types of stories, so that there's different avenues that a club can pursue. Like we have here a farmer's market, which is similar to what you're talking about. But nobody has ever thought about running a Rotary market the same way, which is really a neat idea.
Yeah. Like, I've been involved in the Rotary family for quite a few years now, and having been to international conventions, what's been great is meeting Rotarians and Rotaractors from all over the world and hearing about their different types of projects. So, I've heard of Rotary projects where the club has a carousel down on the pier, and they run that, so they get the money from that. There's a program where they go and wash local garbage bins. They clean them out because homeowners and businesses don't want to do that, so they make money from doing that. I think the classic thing here in Australia is that Rotary clubs run the Bunnings barbecue every Saturday, so they stand out there in front of the store cooking sausages every weekend. But there are so many different things. One of the things that really struck me when I was a facilitator at International RILA some years ago, and that's actually where I really got to know club members Mitty and Yvonne really well back then, and Beck was there as well with us. There was a girl from India, and what she did with her service, and she was part of the Rotary family, what she did with her service is she would work with orphan girls in India, and the reason why they wanted to engage those to stop those girls being radicalized and becoming suicide bombers. And, for me, that was like, wow, that's how you spend your time in service. That's a really intense way. But, there's so many different ways. I know that Cecilia and Raquel, you both do a lot of projects, I think, around water and sanitation. So I think the needs of what communities are where in different areas where different Rotarians and clubs are sort of dictate the types of projects, the opportunities that they have as well.
Right. Sure. Raquel, have you connected with any of the Terra clubs in your area?
Yeah, I have. I try to go to meetings once a month, maybe, if I can go a little bit more. And I try to change clubs, try to go to different clubs. It's different, the dynamics. In Costa Rica and in here in Tijuana are totally different.
Yes.
And in the States, we are an E-club, but
you're just different.
Yeah, totally different.
There is no unequal. It's just different.
Different, exactly. And you know what? Here there are a lot of projects and global grants going on. And one of the things that I learned is that we don't have to spend like a lot of money to be involved in a global grant, we can actually spend like $100 and we are already in a global grant. So yeah, we can do a lot of things. We just need to be more proactive and go to these meetings, and don't be afraid to go to the meetings. Actually, Rotarians are really cool people and really easygoing. And yeah, I think one of the things that Roger said about the badges, it's a really good idea. For me, it's been like kind of a strange feeling going to a club and like, you're a guest, or are you a Rotarian or a Rotaract? So yeah, I think that we need to work on that.
Actually, that's a really interesting point. So I found when I was reaching out to clubs initially that because we were going in under different banners like the markets or Graffiti Removal Day, for me, when I was emailing, I was saying, we're Rotarians constantly. It was like a small like banner because it's a family. Like, so to me, I thought, you know, if we say we're Rotarians, it's just going to help the cause a little bit more. So suddenly they would go, yeah, let's email back these people. So don't be shy about saying that we are Rotarians. It's not a secret. It's more that we are trying to, you know, connect with different people. So the badges will help, definitely. And then when you're emailing, just don't be shy. Just say, you know, you're part of this e-club. You want to reach out and sort of go from there.
You could also do what I've done, which I did about 10 years ago, which was to have just a dedicated Rotary email account, which is just about as busy as my business account. And have a signature file, you know, that says Rotary E-Club of Silicon Valley. That helps. And also wearing any kind of a Rotary pin, or I'm sure having attended conventions, you've bought
He has everything.
Another swag. So anything like that is helpful. And I hope that we're sending all of you pins when you when you are inducted into the club, because that does make a difference. People do recognize the pin, even if they wouldn't question that you're a Rotarian if you're wearing the pin, even if you don't have a badge.
I had the luck of, when I was inducted, I think last year or the year before that, Mitty was actually in Australia when he was during his term as president. So he was actually able to give me a pin whilst he was here. So I wear my lapel pin every day, and the amount of conversations it sparked up because someone's like, oh, you're a Rotarian, I'm a Rotarian, or, you know, you're a Rotarian, I did youth exchange, or I did RILA, you know, having that visibility for people that know, it's a great way to facilitate that conversation and then to get involved with them and engage them.
Yes, that's true. Okay, Roger, go ahead.
One point that I would like to make is that when I was a member of a Terra Club, what we did was for every new member, we gave them a Rotary pin.
Yeah.
Right.
And as a result, we encouraged them to wear that. And out in the community, which really helped with people getting to know what Rotary does.
Mm-hmm.
And we could still do that as an e-club.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just that motivation would have to come from the board of directors.
Mm-hmm.
I find, and I still have on my suit jacket, I still have my Rotary pin. And when I change jackets, I change the pin as well.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised at how many people over time have asked me about that pin, and has been a direct lead in to promoting Rotary within the community.
Yeah.
It is a very good way of doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the good of the order? Raquel? Okay, well, we will move toward terminating the meeting now, and as we always do, we will give our presenters the last word.
So I think one thing I just want to say is volunteering can be hard when you're time poor, and it can be tiring, it can be exhausting, but it's also something that can be very, very rewarding. So I think key to making volunteering successful and for you to engage with the Terra Club in the right way so that you enjoy it is to find something that you're interested in, something that you're passionate about, or something you have the skill set that they're looking for, and matching that opportunity up with what you're looking for. And I think if we can all do that, then that will really get us all involved in volunteering with our local Terra Club. So, thanks again, everyone, for joining today or for listening to this, watching this recording, and we hope that you get involved.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
Cheers.